We have the Ballymore. We might as well talk about that. Sam Crow, Johnny's ultimate horse here. I mean, look, there's very little to suggest that he's going to do anything but win this race. Johnny, have you any concern? First of all, is there any doubt over whether or not he goes to the Ballymore Supreme? Because if this rain keeps coming, like, how confident are you that he is going to actually turn out in the Ballymore and not the Supreme?
Like, it's weird. Like, Gordon and Eddie O'Leary are not on the same hymn sheet about this horse.
Really?
For whatever reason, I don't know.
Well,
Eddie is ruling it out, and Gordon is saying he said it 2 or 3 times at the preview last week he could change the Supreme. I don't know why they're not on the same hymn sheet. I think they made the right move at Leopardstown because I thought the staying race was very weak, and you know, a bit like Super Sunday, it'll sharpen him up a bit, taking on good horses, maybe tell them how good he is, and he obviously bolted up. If you're on for the Ballymore, I'd still be a bit worried, definitely.
And if you're on for the Supreme?
If you're on for the Supreme, you have a bit of a chance. I think he'll win either race, to be honest. He's the ultimate racehorse. Just doesn't seem to be any flaw in him temperamentally. He'll settle. He'll basically do anything. I do not see why there's any issue over him running the Ballymore, regardless of what the ground is. He won a Navan and 2.5 on heavy. They say he's a Gold Cup horse. What's wrong with running the Ballymore, especially when Megley can?
Jigginstown only buy horses to be chasers and staying chasers.
Yeah, like obviously they buy the odd flat horse, but mainly they buy them to be chasers. I just do not see why it's an issue if the ground is soft, run them in the Ballymore. Even soft to heavy wouldn't bother me in the slightest. And I've never gone to a festival not even thinking that defeat was, possible. And I know that's stupid, but I'd be between himself and Arena. If either of them were beaten, I'd be absolutely amazed.
Leon, is he a big loser for BoyleSports? Sam Crow's been a lot of money for him.
He is. Listen, come here, sure. Ever since he stepped onto a race course, people have been talking about
that bumper in Ferryhouse last Easter. The race that Arduke won the national. Like, he was unbelievably good in the bumper, and then he's just done everything.
We're talking about being purists. Why not throw him into a champion hurdle? He's going chasing next year. Everyone knows he's going chasing next year. Like the champion hurdle this year, he could have easily ran the champion hurdle, and he probably could have won it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's not that much difference between, like, if you look at the champion hurdle field and you look at all these novice fields. I mean, the way he won the last day at Leopardstown, I was blown away by him. He just had so many gears and he used so much class. I'd be worried if you're on him anti-post for the Ballymore, because there's too much talk about the Supreme. There's way too much talk about the Supreme.
Ted, what would you do with him, Ted?
I'd run him in one of the novices and I'd run him in the Ballymore. I would run him in the Ballymore if I thought he was going to be a potential Gold Cup horse, 2 mile and 5 or there. He'd be in his comfort zone every step of the way. Things would work out for him. That's where I'd go. I mean, if it's a horse that you're thinking about being a Gold Cup horse, if you're thinking about being a champion hurdle horse, it'd be a different thing. But I mean, why wouldn't you run him in the Ballymore? As Johnny said, I wouldn't have any worry about crowd.
Do you think he's as good as everyone's talking about?
I don't know. I mean, we got run away. I was a huge fan of his. I was asked last year to mention a horse for next year, and I mentioned him straight away, Sam Crow. I saw him win school and chase at Leopardstown about this time 2 years ago for Colin Bowe. I think he's a very, very good horse. But he's got to deliver there, and I hope he does, and I'd love to see him. But that's where he's got to deliver. You go to Cheltenham, horses around you, go good gallop, quicken up the hill, like some of the great horses we've seen over the years, like Vatour did there on a few occasions. That's where you've got to answer all calls, is Cheltenham, and make any excuses you like. The real great horses deliver at Cheltenham.
Just on that as well about running in the champion hurdle, he's been lobbing away in novice races on soft ground in Ireland. If he tipped up and fell and died in a champion hurdle, can you imagine them trying to live that down? Because he's not even a hurdler really. Like,
so I think he could tip up and fall in the Ballymore.
Yeah, but it's running at a 2 mile champion hurdle pace. He's not even a hurdler really. Like, I don't think they'd ever. And we've seen novices, go down that route and it's gone wrong for them. Yeah. I think they'd never live to regret it. Like,
I think a horse we haven't mentioned is on the blind side.
Yeah, okay.
And I think, to be fair, listen, I mean, there's no
Nicky Henderson's horse.
Yeah, there's no point just talking about Irish horses. You've got to look at some of the English horses. Yes, we battered them last year and got plenty of winners, but Nicky Henderson has spoke very, very highly about on the blind side, and they've nominated the Ballymore months ago. They just said that's his race. And Nicky Henderson, winning most trainer at the festival, you've certainly got to respect him. He's got one hell of a team going to Cheltenham. And look, again, if you don't want to be taking 4 to 6 about Sam Crow, I mean, 5 to 1 each way and on the blind side, I definitely think he'll be in the first 3.
Where's next destination? Is he going for the Albert Bartlett? Is he going for the Ballymore?
They're saying the Ballymore, but all these things can change, Hugh.
Well, next destination would have Robbie. I mean, he'd have to have a really good chance, would he?
Yeah, I'd imagine he'll run him here. He's got horses for the other races. I'd imagine this is the horse for this race. and I can't see him being good enough to beat Sam Crow. But as Ted was saying, like, there's been so much talk for a horse that hasn't left the country, has tipped around, won a couple of bumpers, won his novice hurdles, hugely impressive. But he has to go over there and deliver and win in Cheltenham. If he doesn't go over there and win in Cheltenham, he's only a horse. And that's all people will think about him. If he doesn't, he's got to go over and do it. He's got to travel over, take his travelling, settle in, the whole lot, and not that the occasion get to him. So I think on the blind side against him is a good bet each way. But I'd love to see Sam Crow do it, but he has to go and do it, otherwise he's only a horse.
Okay. All right.
He'll definitely run in the Ballymore. Gordon and Michael are definitely on the same wavelength anyway. He runs in the Ballymore. I don't know what Eddie's on about. But the horse will definitely run in this race.
Next destination beat Kraken Smart by whatever half a length the last day, and he was all out. And Kraken Smart, by all accounts, wouldn't be within an ass's roar of Sam Crow at home. So I can't see how we should beat him.
Okay.